Hey everyone, welcome back to the Moreno show. I hope it finds you well. You know what I've been liking lately? I love seeing Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt go ahead and do these MAGA minutes at the end of every week. I think they're great. They're like 90 seconds, but she goes ahead and just consolidates some of the most important conversations happening in 90 seconds. And I think they're great. And I've been longing for a maha minutes. I'd love to see RFK Jr. do a maha minutes or something like that. Anybody else really? But since I love the framework where it's like if if you want something to exist in the world and it doesn't exist, that's kind of the world telling you need to go and make it exist. So I wanted to do a kind of like a maha minutes sort of thing here. We're not going to talk about everything that's happening in the world, but I do think this would be kind of a great conversation starter for it. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Also, please go ahead and like and subscribe. It really does mean the world to me. Only 69% of people watch this, but they don't subscribe. Come on, don't be part of that statistic. All right. So check this out. One of my favorite things that happened this week was a couple of days ago when RFK Jr. was with President Trump as he signed an incredible executive order fulfilling their promise for radical transparency in healthcare. And we did talk about this in another episode, but here's the executive order. It is titled Making America Healthy Again by Empowering Patients with Clear, Accurate, and Actionable Healthcare Pricing Information. So again, this goes back to the idea that like it sucks being a patient and trying to figure out where is the most affordable option, because right now it's almost like impossible to compare and contrast between different pricing options in that space. So I love that in section 3 it goes ahead and it calls for this kind of transparency with action items to make sure that it actually happens. So check this out. Section 3, the Secretary of the Treasury, the Secretary of Labor, and the Secretary of the Health and Human Services shall take all necessary and appropriate action to rapidly approving and enforce the healthcare price transparency regulations issued pursuant to Executive Order 13877, including within 90 days of the date of this order. So got a time frame, 90 days. You got 3 months. That's in 3 months. This is done. Check this out. A, B, and C. A, require the disclosure of the actual prices of items and services, not estimates. There we go. I love it. Line item by line item. Issue updated guidance or proposed regulatory action, ensuring pricing information is standardized and easily comparable across hospitals and health plan. This is so good. C, issue guidance or proposed regulatory action updating enforcement policies designed to ensure compliance with the transparent reporting of complete, accurate, and meaningful data. So long are the days when people aren't when hospitals aren't able to just like, yeah, I'm just not gonna cooperate. I'm just not gonna listen to this executive order. No. Now there's actually going to be enforcement policies put in place to make sure that they to make sure that they actually do the things that this executive order is designed to do. So good. So we also saw President Trump's first cabinet meeting in his second administration, in his second term, and we saw RFK Jr. there, we saw Marco Rubio there, we saw pretty much everyone was there, and it was incredible. But there was this one moment when RFK Jr. did end up talking about measles, and I love that in this moment, like the question was asked to President Trump, but President Trump decided to bring Kennedy in to actually just go ahead and take the reins over here, and I just thought this was great. Check this out.
There's a measles outbreak in Texas at the moment in which a child is reported to have died. Do you have concerns about that? And have you asked Secretary Kennedy to look into that?
Why don't we, Bobby, do you want to speak on that?
We are following the measles epidemic every day. I think there's 124 people who have contracted measles at this point, mainly in Gaines County, Texas. Mainly, we're told, in the Mennonite community. There are 2 people who have died, but we're watching it, and there are about 20 people hospitalized, mainly for quarantine. We're watching it. We put out a post on it yesterday, and we're going to continue to follow it. Incidentally, There have been 4 measles outbreaks this year. In this country last year, there were 16. So it's not unusual. We have measles outbreaks every year.
You sound
There we go. And Mr. Kennedy, Secretary Kennedy, posted this on his Sec Kennedy account, and he was saying, "My heart goes out to the families impacted by the current measles outbreak in Texas. I recognize the serious impact of this outbreak on families, children, healthcare workers, and healthcare workers." And he even says that here at HHS we have, and then he listed 5 bullet points on actions that HHS already conducted. So this is great. You know what we also saw? We saw Elon Musk, the guy who is taking charge of a Doge and really shaking up Washington D.C. He went on Joe Rogan just yesterday. That podcast was published, and they just talked about how consequential this cabinet is, and they name RFK Jr., they name Tulsi Gabbard, and I just thought this was a great watch. Check this out.
With this setup, the way it is right now, with Trump back in after all that happened to him, and with you there, and with RFK Jr. and Tulsi and Kash Patel, it's like, this is a wild time to find out what's really going on. That's like never happened before. This is nothing like the first term.
no.
Like the first term, he had a bunch of neocons in the cabinet, and there's a bunch of shady people that he didn't know, and he had to appoint all these different people. Maybe he got some bad picks. Now he's had 4 years to stew on it.
Right.
And with you guys all going through this, we're getting an understanding of the government that we've literally never had before.
Yeah, this is a revolutionary cabinet, and maybe the most revolutionary cabinet since the first revolution. This is not a bunch of business as usual types. So this is why, like, some of the Senate confirmations were quite challenging, is because when you put to try to appoint people who are going to change the system, the system doesn't want to let them through.
But it's fascinating because it's like the vampires all out themselves. Like now everybody knows who the system is. Like if you're just lying openly about U.S. aid, and then they come and hear you talk on a podcast and explain what's really going on, like he's starving mothers. There's mothers that can't get food.
Totally false.
That's all you're hearing.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, one core thing that I love there was that Elon Musk talking about how like the world never wants to change, but that's why you need to do things like this, because you need to make the world change. You need to go on podcasts. You need to have these loud conversations. You need to talk about things that no one else is talking about. You need to apply pressure where there isn't. And that's when things start moving. Speaking of pressure and speaking about things moving in good directions, we also saw Steak and Shake pretty much kind of really propel more this maha movement. I saw this from Breitbart News. They say that breaking Steak and Shake announces all of its restaurants have switched their frying oil to beef tallow as of today, as of this morning. Look at this. Nothing will stop our crusade to lead in the maha movement. And I just want to talk about just how wild this is. Like to see a major fast food chain go ahead and take an extraordinary measure like this. Like this isn't something that, like, RFK Jr. is as HHS secretary has, forced companies to do. No. He wasn't forced to do this. They're choosing to do this. They are choosing to put people over profits. They're choosing to do what is right. They're choosing to take this step. And I just think this is just great. And you know what else I saw this morning? It was from American Values, and there's this maha mom and she just goes ahead and explains why she supports RFK Jr. And I was reading this article from the Daily Mail, and I love this. I love these 2 paragraphs here. Check this out. She says, "To me, the maha movement represents the things I care about as a mother and a health advocate, like transparency, bodily autonomy, and our ability to choose what's best for our children without coercion or bias to science that's been paid for by big pharma, or by a system that's set up to create lifelong patience rather than promoting true healing. I want to be part of a movement that empowers families to make health decisions based on truth and not fear or financial gain. It's about addressing the root cause of illness, not just masking the symptoms with pills that don't solve the problem or prioritize long-term health." And here's this photo of her looks like she's in her home wearing a Make America Healthy Again cap with RFK Jr. at his confirmation hearing on the TV. And I just thought this was really, really good. Good things are happening every day. Good things are happening inside of Maha, and I'm just happy to go ahead and talk about it. But let me know what you thought about some of these conversations. Let me know what you think about this concept of Maha minutes. It's never been done before, not that I've seen, but I was inspired by Caroline Levitt, and I thought this would be a good idea. But let me know if you want to keep seeing more of this, and I will see you all next time. Stay safe out there, and I hope you have a beautiful day. I really do. All right. Episode's over already? Geez, that was fast. Well, they say beautiful things do not last forever, but feel free to watch and listen to another one of these episodes if you're interested in those conversations as well. Also, this next part is huge. Make sure to obliterate that like and subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never skip a beat. I also have a newsletter where we dive into the news, politics, and ideas that shape our future. If you're interested in signing up, I'd really appreciate that. Anyways, that's the end of this episode. Thank you so much for watching and listening, and I'll see you next time.